Hey Savvy people, it's Savvy Nick here, and today I'm here on the Fedora.org website where I just got finished downloading the latest Fedora update. My plan is to go ahead and test the latest update, Fedora 32, which is still in its beta phase. Something interesting is that they're now enabling by default early OOM, which aids in the recovering of a system if it loses too much memory, either swap or physical. So we'll take some time and put that to the test. As you can see up top here, it says Fedora 32 beta released. So now we can get it by simply hitting the download now button. And then underneath here, we can see that Fedora 32 is available for beta. I already went ahead and downloaded it and installed it. So I'm going to go ahead and launch it now. Let me go ahead and log in real quick. They've also announced that they've enabled the FS trim timer by default when installing Fedora 32, which by their claims can help the performance of solid-state drives. They've also updated their GNOME environment here to the latest release of GNOME. Of course, they've updated many of their other packages as well to the latest and greatest version of those packages. We can expect an official release soon after Fedora gets through their beta testing phase in the next few weeks. So in order to test this EasyOOM being enabled by default, I'm going to go ahead and try creating a memory leak in the system. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start up a terminal, maybe a couple. And what I'll do is I'll write a small C++ program so we can go ahead and create a memory leak and then follow it with top or something to monitor our processes. So here we have a terminal. Let me open up a couple more here. So the idea here is this new monitoring process should be able to catch our memory leak and shut it down before it actually affects the system and shuts down the system or locks it up, which is a great thing to have. So my plan is to first go ahead and just get a couple packages here. Let me see if they have Vim. Not found. Do I want to download it? Yes. So give it a few moments here. If you're new and stopping by to watch a video today, make sure to subscribe below and hit the notification bell for more updates and videos. So I'm going to go ahead and also just check if we have G++ to compile my program. When we don't, so I'm going to go ahead and install that as well. And while that's running, I'm going to go ahead and open up top here. So here in top, we can see our resources currently being used and what's free. So the megabytes of memory available as well as the megabytes of swap available. So memory here represents the physical memory, and we have a total of about 8 gigs here, and 4.2 gigs of that is free. And then we have the swap file, which has availability of about 3.2 gigabytes here. As you can see, the total is 3.2 gigabytes. So we got plenty of memory available, but let's see if we can go ahead and fill this all up. The way I'm going to do that is actually create a program in temp, and we'll call it memleak for memory leak. This will be a CPP file, so I can compile it with the C++ compiler. And what we want is just to, let's see, include IOStream. I'm going to need a hashtag in front. And then if I do int main, and there'll be a very simple program here. We'll just do a while loop indefinitely until we exit out by ourselves. And while that's going, I'm just going to go ahead and first print out just something so we know things have started. So cout using the standard library, and just say program started so we know. And we should be able to use standard inline to make things line up and look pretty. And then finally, let's go ahead and make a memory leak. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and allocate a pointer in heap and keep allocating that pointer and never destroy it. And you'll see how fast memory will actually get filled up, which is a perfect example of a memory leak. So if we do a double and we just say, we're going to make a pointer here called memleak, and we are going to set that pointer to a new double. So that should take a few bytes up of the system, and it'll keep doing this really quickly because it's going to run as quickly as it can execute this code here, which is extremely fast. And we should see a memory spike until hopefully the EasyOOM program stops it, which is a new feature here in Fedora 32. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and exit out. So if I just do G++ in the temp directory, call for memleak, and just output memleak. That should be enough. Let's see if it compiles. It didn't complain, so it looked like it compiled just fine. And better yet, what I want to do is go ahead and start up a couple terminals here. So I'm just going to make this one a little smaller, put it over here on the side, and start a few more. So we'll put one on the side here, just so we can follow along with some other things. And one more here at the very bottom. So this bottom one, I'm going to run top in at an interval of a half second. And up top, let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Hard to see. Plenty big. And then up here on top, I'll make this bigger as well before we get too far. And that should be plenty as well. And what I'll do in this one is I'll just monitor the one process, which is going to be called memleak. So similar here, 0.5, and then I'm going to grep for just memleak so we can keep track of just the one process and see how memory builds up. So here right now, again, you can see about 7.5 gigabytes free of memory. Now let's go ahead and run our program. All right, so I'm in my home directory here where I created my memleak program. As you can see here in green, we have memleak. So let's go ahead and run it. And then we'll watch both of these terminals here, as well as the memory right here that's available to the system. So as we're going here, the program says it started. And as you can see, we are constantly building up memory very slowly. Well, fairly slowly. I mean, in comparison, we already have 2.6, almost 3 gigs filled up, and you can see memory is dropping here on the left as well. And I would expect pretty soon, once we fill swap up, that we will actually go ahead and terminate this program if everything's working right, and they've actually enabled EasyOOM in this new beta. And look at that. It says it's been terminated. So everything does seem to work very well. And now we can see that the memory has been freed back up. Actually, now we have access to even more memory. Well, I think that's a really nice feature that they've now enabled with Fedora 32. And it seems to work fairly well. Right when it got to the edge of things here, which is about 7.3 gigs of memory being used up by the memory leak program, then it shifted to terminating it. And as you can see, all the resources were completely given back to the system. So we saw how the system responded, and this is a very nice feature to have, especially if you have Fedora in a production environment where you have a program on it and it's running. You wouldn't want to crash the system and potentially cause errors with the system. Instead, just terminating a program or a process that caused the memory leak would be much better, because then you can gracefully recover versus a full system crash. When developing applications, there's always the potential to make mistakes, and this just makes it a little easier to deal with those mistakes. All right, I'm just going to exit out of all of this, and now that we've tested that successfully, looks like it works great. I'll just show you around the desktop real quick since we already have Fedora 32 beta installed. Here up in the top left-hand corner, everything's very similar to what it was before. Maybe a new background here. In the top left-hand corner, we have our applications. They got Firefox for their default web browser, calendar, Rhythmbox here, photos, the file manager, their software center, as well as showing the rest of the applications that they have available. LibreOffice is their default Office suite. And if we open up the Fedora package manager, we can go ahead and see that we have the ability to enable third-party software repositories if you want. I tend to use a lot of third-party applications, so I don't mind that being enabled. And as you can see here, we got a large selection of various different applications that we can download, ones that are installed, and updates that we can receive from them. And up in the top middle, we have the current date and time, as well as any notifications. And if you want access to a calendar, up in the top right corner, we have access to volume control, our current connected wireless or wired connection, settings, and to log out, suspend, or power off the machine. If you right click on the desktop, you can change up settings and stuff, but you can't really put anything on the desktop unless you enable that through something like GNOME tweaks. And that's just a really quick overview of Fedora 32 beta. Not much new here on the desktop environment, but it's worth just going through real quick for people who are just starting out with Fedora or just haven't seen it in a while. Well, I'm excited about this new release of Fedora 32. Let me know if you are too in the comments section below. And I hope you enjoyed this update on Fedora 32 beta. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comments section below. Also, make sure to subscribe for future videos and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.